This is Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he has spoken against or taken Salaki against Babylon in his purpose, that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So before I continue with this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother lawyer, and I teach the Great Millstone Nashville Camp. Come back with a quick lesson. And this lesson will be entitled "The Least of the Flock Shall Draw Them Out." You know, basically going into these fake Israelites. You know, they call themselves Israelis. You know, they're gonna draw out you Americans to war. The Israelis are the least of the flock. How the hell is that when it says that Israel is the like as the sand of the sea? You can't even count sand, the particles or the speckles of sand, you know. But they're the least of the flock. You know, they're the smallest people. You know, and so they're gonna draw out you Americans to this war, to World War III. You know, and matter of fact, let me go to the blue letter real quick. So yeah, y'all gonna be drawn out to World War III. And so we know that it's here. And really Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel, 38 or 37. I think it's 38. Yep. It says prophecy about Gog and future invasion of Israel, which we know that Gog and Magog is Russia. So Russia's gonna play a role. Ezekiel 38 and 1 says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Ezekiel, I'm not Ezekiel, son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief priest or prince of Meshach and Tubal, prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal." It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring forth the army." It says, "And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor." And so the Lord's going to put hooks in their jaws. You know, Russia, they're going to be tough. You know, they're going to have that old USSR spirit, which is already here. You know, so the Lord's going to toughen them up so that they can come against Babylon. Because also, too, that Jeremiah that I read, it said against Babylon. You know, that's talking about America. You know that certain scriptures are twofold. You know, it talks about ancient Babylon and mystery Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon. You know, but so the Lord's against America, Babylon. You know, let me keep reading. It says, "I'll put hooks in their jaws." It says, let me start right here. "Clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, Salakia, with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." That's going to their militaries, and this is their allies. And today, more countries are added too, because in here, it doesn't have Moab and you know, Ammon being joined unto Gog and Magog, but you know, it's still a prophecy that all these different nations are going to team up against Babylon, even their own allies. Because the Japanese, you know, the Ammonites, they were allies to America, but really they switched sides and they joined, you know, Russia. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, which Persia is Iran today. They are the ancient Persians. Ethiopia and Libya, which Libya today are the Ishmaelites. A lot of them are joining. It says with them, all of them with shield and with helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar. And when you look on the ancient map, that's Turkey. Gomer and Togomar, that's Turkey. It says and Turkey said, you know, like some years ago, might have been 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you know, someone needs to stop Israel. You know, we need to go up against Israel. because the crimes that they committed. But when you speak about it, they shut your channel down. Ain't that some shit? Cut the car off. So yeah, they shut your channel down. You anti-sim. How the hell are you anti-sim? For one, sim is not even the word. It's shim, and there's many different brothers of Shem or sons of of Shem. Not just you, because they are Shemitic, but also so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Hispanics, and the list goes on. Hell, Ishmael, the so-called Arabs, so on and so forth. It says, "Be thou prepared." It says, "Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." So Russia's going to be a guard unto Iran, these other nations. That's why not too long ago, Africa, a lot of those African nations, they made a deal with Russia not too long ago, within 6 months to 2 years ago, from that time frame, because it was something on the news talking about how they made a deal with Russia, and then of course they got deals with China. If they got a chill, I said chill. If they got a deal with China, they got to deal with Russia because they allies, and Russia is the top superpower behind America. But really, they're in front of America. Their technology, the weapons, hell, the economy that they use. Everything is backed by gold and silver. They don't use dollars no more. And let's see. Really, that's all I want with that. Let's get that Revelation 11 or the Isaiah. You're going to hear the same precepts. Ain't nothing going to change. You up here changing doctrines, you're going to be put to death. Isaiah, is it 9 and 6 or 6? Let's see. Maybe Isaiah 9. Brother, you should watch how you talk. Fuck you. Anyway, Isaiah 9 and 5, it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Why? Because nuclear missiles are going to be involved. The arrows, they're going to be shot from one end of the heaven or one end of the earth, to the other end of the earth, which is Babylon being destroyed. Babylon going to shoot missiles off. Other places are going to get hit. But Babylon, the great America, is going to be destroyed. And the land of Israel. That land got to get cleansed. Revelation 11. Revelation 11 and was it like 4? Yeah, Revelation 11 and let's see. Because really 13 goes into the destruction also too. I'm gonna get the main points because gotta get ready to go into work soon. So Revelation 11 and 14, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." So the second woe was World War II, and the third woe is World War III. They're coming quickly, or the third woe coming quickly. So think about the years. It's what had been like 80 years, 75, 80 years since World War II. That's not long at all. That's just a few generations, or what, 20, 40, 60, about what, 3 generations or so. That's not long at all. It hasn't been 200 years, 500 years apart. These are back-to-back wars. Hell, even World War One and World War One, happened for 4 years, and then it was World War II. So it's not long at all. I need some wind. It's hot as hell. And so, let me see. And we're going to see the destruction. That's what really Revelation 11 and 13 was going into, where it says at the end, "The remnant were frightened and gave glory to God of heaven." Why? Because they were saved, which is ultimately the elect, the 144,000 and 1/3 of men, women, and children, were saved from destruction happening. from Babylon being destroyed. That's what happened. All right. And then, damn, I lost my train of thought. Just seen the brother pull up. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Let me see real quick. And then, so like, I lost my train of thought. Let me get Joel 3. Was it 2? Let's get 2. We're going to get Joel 2. And I'm going to start at 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Right? And so we blowing the trumpet. You know, we're warning you on the destruction that's getting ready to happen. And so that you can get right. And then also too, you know, we warn other nations because it's their last time of ruling. This is their last time of rulership. You know, this is the last time of you know, like I said, them being in power, rulership, them being over Jake. And so I think that's in Isaiah 30. So let me go, is it 30 or 32? Let me see. No, where is it at? Come ye nations. Let's see. And ultimately too, we preach to the other nations, or you know, prophesy to the other nations because we know that Israel is in these other nations too. All right, and if they're elect, the Lord needs them. It's 34. The Lord needs them to come out of those ways of being like unto the heathen and turn back unto Him. So Isaiah 34:1. It says, come near ye nations to hear and hearken ye people. Let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fear upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. So the Lord is looking to destroy these different nations, like these armies, for what they've done to the nation of Israel. So let's go back to Joel. Damn, is it 3? Yeah, Joel 3. And 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of, it says Jehoshaphat. We know that Yahweh's name, or the Lord's name, is not what they call him, Jehovah. So right here is not Jehoshaphat, it's Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. The Lord's going to sit here and judge these different nations. Why? And I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And so they parted the land of Israel. To who? The small hats, via the Balfour Declaration. But the Lord said He's going to put us in that land. So how they in the land? By the form of a piece of paper or papers, because I believe it was 2 Balfour Declarations that were signed. One was signed after World War One, and one was signed after World War II. So that's how they got into the land, and so they parted the land. Ezekiel. Let's see, where is it at? Yep, Ezekiel 36:5. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. Idumea is a Greek way of saying Edom, which we know the Edomites are so-called white people and those small hats over there in the land of Israel. But we know that Israel scattered amongst them also. It says, against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart and with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. And I want to get another version of that. Let's see. Oh, shit. Never mind. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see what the NLT says. NLT, what did I read? 60, I'm not 60, 36:5. Yeah, Ezekiel prophesied. Yeah, Ezekiel 36:5. It says, "This is what the sovereign Lord says: My jealousy, or my jealous anger, burns against these nations, especially Edom, because they have shown utter contempt for me by gleefully taking my land for themselves as plunder." And so that's what they have done. So the Lord, hey, he's causing this war to happen. All these other nations, they had a role in taking us down. Was it 82 or 83? Matter of fact, let's go back to the King James. Oh, my fault. 83. Psalm 83. Psalm 83 and 2. It says, "For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones." And they're taking crafty counsel against us. I said get us. Against us. You know? And that's why you don't see no so-called Black, Latino, Native American owned, what they call, what they call it, the World Economic Forum. You don't see no Israelite up there, sitting amongst the nations, because they're against us. All them different nations are against us. And all those are heathens that sit at that table. It's not one Israelite foreigner at that table. They're all heathens, guaranteed. It says, matter of fact, let's get the NLT. I'll probably close it out with this. It says, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to start at 4. Psalm 83 and 4. Come, it says, "Come," they say, "let us wipe out Israel as a nation. We will destroy the very memory of its existence." And so that's what they have done. They've changed the images unto themselves, or to look like them. The images of the Lord, King David, Moses, all of them. They changed it to their image. It says, yes, this was their un enemy. Shit, an enemy. Damn, I can't say that word. Yes, this was their unanimous decision. Anonymous, my bad. It's early. This was their anonymous decision. They signed a treaty as allies against you. These Edomites and Ishmaelites, Moabites, Hagarites, Gibeonites, Ammonites, and Amalekites, which Amalek is, one of the grandsons of Edom. Or, yeah, one of the grandsons of Edom, which are the small hats. It says, and people from Philistia and Tyre, which those are the Africans today, because they were in the land, the sons of Ham. It says Assyria has joined them too. It says, and is allies with the descendants of Lot. And who's the descendants of Lot? The Ammonites and the Moabites. And so really, I'm going to close it with that. So Lord, with this is edifying lesson. The Lord is gathering up these different nations to be destroyed. And so with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Kakodash. Shalom.